Welcome to the Uncultured Opinions Podcast.
Welcome to the Uncultured Opinions Podcast. Welcome to the Uncultured Opinions Podcast.
And holy shit, guys, we did it.
You downloaded fucking malware on my laptop. I'll challenge the Clintons just like I challenged God. Neither of them are gonna do anything, so it's fine.
He's probably the hottest actor there is.
You can't rush masterpiece.
You're losing
Okay,
fame.
Brent's reevaluating his whole existence right now.
Just cancel it and start over.
You know, people like that exist. I saw a leaked video. Why the fuck?
Way too many anime titties.
See, I know things.
Hello. Welcome back to another episode of Uncultured Opinions Podcast. Today, there's no Brent. It's just Samuel and I.
It's because Brent's a
Brent's up.
pussy bitch. Famous words of 21 Savage. Pussy.
On his new album.
Pussy.
No, but for real, Brent is not joining us on today's episode.
So, for those of you that watched the show for Brent,
Go ahead and leave.
oh, well, I figured no one watched the show for Brent, so we didn't even need to worry about it.
I adapted his laugh there for a second.
Dude, his laugh is so toxic.
You know what his laugh reminds me of?
A virgin?
That lady of from that interview with Justin Bieber. Have you seen it?
I don't think so.
She asked him a question. This is when he's like bowl cut Bieber,
Okay.
like young Bieber, like 16.
Yeah.
And he's like, she asked him a question.
I think I have seen that.
She asked him a question. She goes, and he goes, I like that laugh.
Yeah. Yeah.
He just fucking mocks her.
Exactly.
I'm like, that is so mean.
That's pretty funny. I do remember that.
But that's what Brent's laugh reminds me of.
Yeah. But unfortunately, Brent is not able to make this episode.
Unfortunately, you mean? You misspoke. You said unfortunately.
Oh, sorry. Just have it, you know. But
Do we have news? Or I will first, this week's episode, we are going to be discussing Haunt, which was a recommendation. I think it's our first recommendation.
that was taking in a while. First one in a while. We've
Yeah,
done
first
some
one in a while.
others.
I think the only other recommendation we had was,
Some Patreon recommendations.
yeah, which was Jay and Silent Bob Strike Back. I think that was the only other recommendation we had.
I agree. No, we did Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles.
That's true. That was a Patreon
That was another
recommendation. Anyway, this week we did Haunt, 2019 movie, horror film. I'd never heard anything about it. I don't think Samuel had either.
Nope. Never
Not on my
even heard
radar at all.
anything.
But it was recommended by our friend Brucker over at the Film on the Rocks podcast. We discuss back and forth every now and then. He gave me 2 recommendations. We chose Haunt. I think the other one he recommended was Host. I'll probably still watch it.
Yeah.
We might do another review, but probably not for October. Oh, speaking of October, we're doing Spooktober. I'm sure you could probably guess that we would do a horror-themed
Why did you call it Spooktober?
Spooktober. I don't know. It's spooky.
Yeah, I feel like that's like a super cheesy. Like
Okay,
cliche
well then what do you want to
October.
call it? Horrortober?
I'm gonna call it Uncultured October.
Uncultured October?
Yeah, instead of Uncultured Opinions, it's Uncultured October.
Optober?
Yeah, because like opinions, but also October.
I don't know. I think Uncultured October is fine.
That works too.
Anyway, we were doing... Do we have a set? Can I release what we were doing this week or this month? Are we dead set?
I think we're pretty set.
Pretty set?
So we have
This is subject to change then, by the way.
this is Haunt.
This is Haunt. Next week we will be reviewing It, the 1990
And then we
TV special, but it'll be combined, like they basically do it. 1990, and then also in the same episode, It Chapter 1, 16?
I don't know the dates.
No, 2017.
Bro,
It
just say the
2017
remakes.
and It Chapter 2. After that, I believe we will be doing Ghostbusters, probably Ghostbusters 2, and the Ghostbusters remake, which I am not looking forward to, but I am looking forward to shitting all over that movie.
That's sexist.
And it's not because it's has women in it. It's because it's a bad movie.
So you're saying women don't deserve to be in movies?
It's not even close to what I said.
That is what I
at
heard.
all.
My liberal filter just went in and I heard women don't.
Your liberal
Yeah.
filter.
Heard women don't deserve to be in movies.
I mean, I would strongly disagree with that statement.
Well,
But
some
anyway,
movies.
after that, we will be doing Halloween. Ooh, I just remembered. We forgot to message them about the Halloween.
I love how they're gonna hear this.
They're gonna hear this first because it'll be out tomorrow.
Yeah.
It'll be fine. Anyway, we'll message them. We'll discuss Swim on the Rocks. Where we have a collab
Are we
idea.
doing the new Halloween or the old Halloween?
That
Or
would
both
depend
Halloweens?
on.
Are we doing every single Halloween that's ever
I don't
been
think we have
released?
time because there's a lot.
Yeah, that's like doing the fucking
But we were going to.
Jason movies.
We'll update you next week when we just.
There's
when we
also a
figure out
chance
what
that Halloween gets switched out with another cult
Yes,
classic.
Halloween could get switched out with maybe.
Just a couple other cult
Actually,
classics.
you know what? Maybe send us a recommendation for the last one of the month. Because we were going to do a Halloween special, right? We can always do it. A Halloween, an episode that releases on Halloween.
Yes.
I feel like that should be Halloween.
Dude, I don't know. It could be any Halloween movie.
Yeah, I don't know.
The only
We'll
special,
probably
the only
I feel like
recommendations I'm not taking are
Casper,
Casper, Halloween Town,
Hocus
and
Pocus.
Hocus fucking. If you recommend Hocus Pocus to me,
Wait. Hold
you're
on.
getting blocked and blacklisted.
I don't think you and me have ever discussed Hocus Pocus.
Hocus
I get
Pocus
into arguments all the time over
is
Hocus.
the worst fucking show. I've
Oh
ever
my
seen.
God! Finally, you are the. I can't.
So I never had cable when I was little. So then, like the first time I saw Hocus Pocus was like 3 years ago.
Are
And
you
I'm like,
serious? Are we
like-
the same fucking person?
Yeah, probably. I'm like, this is fucking terrible.
Oh my God! Okay, so discussion time. We're gonna talk about Hocus Pocus for a minute because I can't believe we've never talked about this before. I've literally never met another person who despises Hocus Pocus as much as I do. I cannot stand that atrocious, horrible, unfunny movie. It is terrible.
Yeah, it's bad.
It is arguably one of my least favorite movies of all time. I cannot stand it. But, see, here's the thing. I went on a rant about it. I don't think that Hocus Pocus is objectively, I feel like I can say this with full confidence. Hocus Pocus is objectively a bad film.
Yes.
Subjectively, I can understand where people would like it. Like, if I watched it as a kid, I probably would have some nostalgia attached to it,
Yes.
which I feel like is the only reason that movie is popular at all.
Yes.
I have some, so like with you, it's one of Blair's favorite movies, or at least Halloween movies. She loves Hocus Pocus. I'd never watched it before, so she made me watch it probably like 3 years ago. I think it was 2016, maybe 4 years ago, something like that. 3 or 4 years ago, she made me watch it, and I was like, why the hell do you like this garbage? It is terrible. No part of me enjoyed any part of that film. I hated every second of it. The acting's bad. The comedy's bad. The makeup's bad. It's all bad. The writing's bad. The plot's bad. I cannot stand that atrocious fucking movie. It drives me up the walls why it is so popular. I don't get it. I will never forget. So, like,
You have every basic bitch. that's
especially my seasonal time when I went back to Walmart to work for Walmart briefly. I worked in electronics, so like I stocked movies and stuff. Like we get the seasonal bits. But when for Halloween, we got so many copies of Hocus Pocus. I'm talking, so like typically what you'd get, every Friday you get boxes of DVDs. Usually you have a couple small boxes of the new release stuff that is street dated that can't go out until the mod sets.
Yeah.
And then you get filler stuff, and then you get the modular set for the seasonal. Those are usually pretty big, but they're typically the seasonal sets, so it's usually like what you see up at the front of the store. You know how you'll see like the 4-way, and each side is usually has about
Yes.
probably 6 to 10 different movies on it. Usually you have different options: DVD, 4K, whatever. We literally had a side that was just Hocus Pocus. Like, that's it.
That sounds terrible.
It was awful. And Freeform, I think, used to be, what did the channel Freeform?
Yeah.
Whatever channel it used to be, they did a Hocus Pocus Halloween the same year. And so what it was
They do that every year now.
yeah, well, what it is, at least then, I think it's the same. October 1st, Hocus Pocus plays. October 2nd, they play it twice.
Yes, I know.
October 3rd, they play it 3 times. So on and so forth. Until you get to about the 15th or the 16th, and it's literally just on loop all day until the end of the month. And it is the worst thing on the history of this planet. I cannot stand this movie. I hate this movie, and I will argue with anyone forever about this movie. We can stop talking about it because it's just making me angry. But I despise Hocus Pocus.
It was terrible. And then like
It's awful. It's awful.
every basic bitch is like, Oh my god.
Can't wait to
I
have some.
love fall so much.
I can't wait to drink my
I can't
pumpkin
watch-
spice
can't watch
latte and watch Hocus Pocus. Fuck your cunt. I hate it. I despise this movie. Don't get me wrong. I love pumpkin spice.
Oh, dude.
Pumpkin spice.
Pumpkin
is
spice
delicious.
cold brew from Starbucks.
Dude, you're right.
It slaps. It's
I don't think we've ever agreed so much.
Dude, dude, that might be the best coffee drink I've ever had.
When we were making the intro. Oh, also, all over the place. So our intro
Wow.
should have played at the beginning of this episode.
Hopefully.
Hopefully it did. Brent put it in there.
No.
If not, Brent's just a jealous bitch.
You right?
But anyway, hope you liked the intro. We're kind of iffy on it, but would say shout out to our friend. Does he want to go by Josh or Euclid?
Well, his name is Josh, but if you're trying to
His
find him
performance
on
name is
any
Euclid.
sort of social media, it is Euclid,
His
which is
DJ.
EUCLID.
Is it just Euclid? Let me get the underscore.
Yeah,
in.
it's just Euclid. I'm like 99% sure.
I'm going to make sure because I want to shout him out right. But we went over twice. We probably spent about, 9 hours? roughly?
Probably like 6, but yeah. 6 or 7.
6 or 7 hours working on this. But, I mean, Josh did most of the work. We just pulled together the
Yeah,
sound
we
bites
had some ideas.
from it. But,
You guys able to put
I
together
will
an
say,
intro?
as childish as Josh can be,
You're more childish. I agree.
No, that's not what I was going to say at all. What I was going to say is when he was in work mode, like DJ music, sound making or song making work mode, like he was he was pretty serious. Pretty talented dude. I'll give him that. We don't always agree. It's Euclid 502, by the way. His social media.
Euclid
Euclid
502.
502.
Send him some
Oh,
nudes.
he has 666 followers right now.
Send him some nudes if you want.
But anyway, he made our intro, so shout out to him. Appreciate it. Hopefully that played at the beginning. If not, this is kind of pointless.
Either way, shout to him because it will be.
He did make it. It'll be on there. Anyway, what else? What do we have about October? Oh, Sam and I are doing Sober October. It's only what's today's date? How we are filming the 7th, and this is going up on the 7th. So,
Yeah.
still, it's the 7th day, and I'm already not a fan of Sober October. And
I like it.
I like it because it's good. Because like Sam and I have also been religiously going to the gym.
Yeah.
4 days a week at least. Typically 5. Sometimes we
3
get
to
4.
5, yeah.
3 to 5 days a week. For October, we're trying to go every single day, having some slow cardio days in there, but still 7 days a week.
Yeah.
Of course, we're only on day 7 right now, so we're easing into it.
Been doing good.
But we haven't missed a day yet, at least since we started. Neither of us have broke Sober October, which is pretty good. I don't drink that much, but I like to have a drink. Probably every other night. But I don't get drunk. Yeah, I'm a social drinker, which is gonna suck because we go out Fridays after work.
Especially this Friday if we go watch the finals. It's
Yeah,
gonna
if
be
we
hard
go watch
not
the
to-
finals,
I might have
it's
to have a
like-
drink.
No, it's so right.
Right, dude.
Can we?
I don't know. We'll talk about it. I know we're not supposed to break it.
I feel like one drink while watching a game, if we do extra gym the next
But
day.
also,
but it's also Sober October.
I also
you know
don't
what
want
I
to
mean?
lie. Last time I had a beer, I was like heartburn for like 3 days.
That's true.
That sucked.
Yeah, I was pretty much. It tore me up, but I think it's because I had 2 tall boys at B-Dubs.
Film the Rocks is probably listening to this and they're like, these are
What a
some
bunch of
fucking
pussy.
pussies. Like we sit here and drink fucking bourbon on the rocks.
No, I mean I like my
Forever,
bourbon
maybe.
because like I typically have it. I'm out of bourbon right now. I'd see what's driving me nuts is I've got an entire jar of moonshine in my freezer that I've only had about 5 drinks of, and it's practically full. It's almost full, and man, it's been calling my name. It is so good. It's apple pie. It's so good.
Yeah, moonshine
But
sucks.
I've been wanting to get it. Every time I open my freezer, I see it and I want to take a drink, but I'm like, I'm not gonna do it. It's Sober October. I'm also kind of annoyed because Film on the Rocks is also doing they're doing a drink with me episode. I'm not sure exactly how it details. I just saw that they posted
Yeah,
about
I
it.
did see that.
They're doing it for Scream, and I was talking to Blair about it because like it's her favorite movie,
Yeah.
or at least her favorite horror movie is Scream. So I was like, I can't wait to do it. I was like, I'm like definitely gonna do it because I've been meaning to listen to one of their episodes, take down their drinking rules, and then rewatch the movie and do it because I was like, that'll be fun. But they're doing one with it. And I was like, this will be great. I was like, I'm excited. And she's like, well, you can't. I was like, why? She's like, you're doing Sober October, Sam. And I was like, motherfuck. I'm kind of annoyed. I mean, I'll still do it afterwards, but like, it'd be nice to do it when the episode drops.
We can maybe
We could make an exception. I feel like I don't know.
I feel like it's breaking the rules a little bit, but I don't know.
But I don't know. I feel like if we do pretty good, we'd be alright.
I
Alright.
feel like
Anyway.
we're doing pretty good. Just like, I mean, I've been doing like water and
I will
like,
say,
some Powerade
well, like,
Zeros
yeah.
occasionally.
I was gonna say, well, with Sober October, you've only been doing water and coffee
And like I'll do Powerade
mostly,
Zeros
but
a
like,
lot.
I mean, it's strictly no alcohol, and
And
then
soft
mostly
drinks.
strictly no soft drinks, energy drinks, stuff like that. Which I typically have an energy drink, not
Yeah.
every day, but if I'm feeling extra tired, I'll go get one. But like now, I don't have that option,
Yeah.
and I try to not drink coffee because it tears me up.
I mean, that's what it does.
It
It's
tears
what
like it tears up my stomach.
But it's not
but-
in a bad way. Like it's what it. I don't know. It's
No,
not
it
like,
tears
I
up
don't
my
know.
stomach in a bad way. Like it
does.
goes right through me.
I
Like
mean, I
not
think
in a
it's
bad
what
way. Like
coffee
I don't.
Like, does it hurt you, or does it just like make you have to take a shit?
Makes me have to take a shit. But I'm
Because
also
that's
a
just
little
what
bit
coffee
lack.
does.
Well, I mean, I guess it is.
Like even if you didn't put creamer in it, like it's naturally a diuretic.
Yeah.
So it's like gonna make you poop.
No, you're right.
It's the same way like asparagus makes you pee. Like it's
Does it?
natural. Yeah, it's
I
a
didn't know that.
yeah. That's why I also like it, and it makes your pee.
I
smell.
will
It's part of
say
it.
though, as far as a health wise and energy wise, for the most part, I have felt better the past 7 days
I would 100% agree.
with no. I wouldn't say it's the alcohol that's bothering me because I don't drink that much. I think it's the no energy. I think it's the mostly drinking just water and then a coffee in the morning, and then like I'll have like a vitamin water or like a Gatorade, but like you know what I mean.
Yeah.
But like because I usually have probably every other day, maybe not that consistent, but like I'll have an energy drink like at work. On the weekends I don't even touch them, but like at work I'll typically have an energy drink at least probably 3 times a week, which is probably not good, but that's also $6 a week.
Yeah. No.
So it's definitely saving me money. But then I also have probably a Sprite every day, just because I like Sprite. I mean, it's
Sprite
definitely
slaps.
it's definitely the least bad for you. But I will say I have definitely felt better only doing water, coffee, and then like a sports drink here and there. I definitely I feel like I physically have more energy. Does that
Yeah,
make
I
sense?
think a big part of that too is like we've been working out pretty
We've
well.
also been working out more consistently. So like we started about a month ago. I think
Yeah.
this is week 4.
We're coming up on a month.
I
Yeah.
think this is week 4. So just getting active is probably a big part of it.
Yeah.
But I don't know. I felt pretty good recently, actually. Some mornings I've been extra tired.
Yeah. I
But
mean, I
then
think
again-
that happens. I mean, the morning's just like rough. Like we also wake up decent early.
Dude, Monday was awful.
I mean,
See,
Sundays I'm just
Monday
not
was
feeling it.
awful for me because Sunday I didn't get to bed until like 12.
Yeah.
And then I woke up at 4, and I fell back to sleep about 5 minutes before my alarm. So I really that day was awful. But
Yeah, that's rough.
but like Monday getting mixed with that just sucked.
Yeah.
But anyway, is there anything else? I feel like we didn't have any news
No, I
other than
think we're saying
our
any big
lineup
news.
and everything. We might do 5 episodes this week if you want to do an extra one, throw an extra horror. I feel like we should do one. I just feel
We
like
can do that.
I feel like we need to have a classic in there.
We can throw more horror movies.
Maybe
in.
Silence of the. Actually, there is another horror movie I wanted to discuss briefly. Like me and Blair watched the other day. She had never seen it before. Us. Fuck.
Great movie.
That movie is fantastic.
Yeah.
I mean, I thought of it because it wasn't even on my radar. I mean, we watched it like probably I think Saturday maybe, but you were like, it's sexist. Women don't belong in. I mean, obviously you were joking, but like it made me think of that movie because like she's basically the role.
Yeah.
I cannot think of her name for the life of me, but I remember everyone threw a fit, and I was part of the people who threw a
Yeah,
fit
that's pretty cool.
that
shit.
she did not win a fucking Oscar for that performance. And then after watching it again, because this was only the second time I've seen it. I saw it in theaters and then I saw this. I'm still annoyed. Because, man, what a hell of a performance. I gotta look up her name.
I mean, by everyone too. But
Dude,
definitely
no, the whole
for-
film was great, but
definitely
her
for-
performance
for
was
sure.
Oscar worthy. Easy, because she played 2 characters,
Yeah.
and like the voice that she did, like the whole
Yeah.
that movie is fantastic. I could do a whole review where I talk about just that movie, or just him.
Yeah,
I'm
man,
telling you,
I
he's
love
my
him.
favorite director
He's
at the moment.
He's the next.
He's the next Tarantino. I'm
Yeah,
telling
that's
you.
what you say.
He is. Because Tarantino is known for consistently having good movies.
Yeah.
I mean, granted, he's on number
Twice.
2. I mean, does he have a third one out? Because he has the one.
No, he's coming.
And
up.
no, Antebellum. Antebellum is out.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. It's on demand.
No, it's not.
Are you sure? I'm pretty sure Antebellum is out.
there's-
First off, we're talking about Jordan Peele, and we didn't say that.
Dude,
It's-
if they don't have,
I'm telling you, it's on demand on Prime.
you told me I haven't watched this yet.
Yeah, I meant to ask if we went. We should have done that one. The only Halloween movie that dropped.
Oh, it's got not good reviews.
Oh, are you serious? But it's out, right? Yeah, it's out for rent.
Oh yeah, dude, we're definitely doing that.
Do you want to make that the 5th episode then?
Yeah, we can do that.
Okay, we'll do that. I'll rewatch Get Out too. We need to
Okay.
discuss him. But anyway, so I still feel like it's gonna. I'm probably gonna be biased because I really think he is a phenomenal director and producer and writer. Like, it just baffles me that he went from doing Key and Peele, stupid comedy. Don't get me wrong, funny comedy, but you know what I mean, like not deep comedy. To doing horror thrillers and just knocking them out of the fucking park.
Yeah.
Like, incredible movies. And then he's got the Candyman remake coming out next year that was supposed to be this year. I'm really excited for that one. Brent's definitely not hopping on that one. He's going to be too scared. 100%.
He's not.
So wait, what episodes was Brent
Bro,
skipping?
I'm confused. I thought he was.
What? What are you confused about?
He's not on like the writers or directors.
I swear he did Antebellum, wasn't it?
Bro, I 100% thought
I
it
was-
was Antebellum.
Yeah, I was like 100% certain that Jordan Peele was doing Antebellum. Maybe he had a different one. I'm going to look up what he's doing. Jordan Peele movies. As a director, let me go to his IMDb. It's not on there at all. I swear he did, though. No. I'm like, are we crazy?
Bro, there's no way we're crazy.
I was convinced. Dude, I know, because me and my friend and like former employee when I worked at Walmart, we were, his name's Dylan. I don't know if he listens to this anymore. But anyway, me and him had a very long, deep discussion about how excited we were for his new movie Antebellum like a year ago. That was definitely him. Hang on, I'm going to type in Jordan Peele Antebellum. Okay, so like it came up almost immediately. So...
Oh, it's not him. It's not him. It's by like everyone he worked with for us.
That might have been why.
Because they say the creators of us. Or, like,
That's
the
probably
directors
where
of
we
us.
got it from.
So we probably just assumed it was gonna be him. And it was everyone.
I'm
that
kind of
wo-
shook.
It was just everyone that worked with him.
So I guess his third movie will be Candyman.
Does that even count? Like,
A remake?
yeah, does a remake count?
I mean, it still counts. It's his
but
movie.
it's not. But it's not written by him. It's not.
I mean,
I guess
it is and
it's
it isn't
rewritten
because
by
it's
him,
rewritten
but-
by him. Yeah, it's still produced and directed by him.
Yeah.
So
I think so. Hopefully.
no, Jordan Peele's definitely Candyman.
Yeah.
Anyway,
But yeah. We'll move on from him.
do you want to get on to this week's episode?
Yeah, we can get into this week.
All right, so this week, like I said, we'll reiterate. We did Haunt 2019. I'm gonna look up, by the way, what other movies he did because,
The writers were the same people.
who
did
did
Quiet Place.
A Quiet Place? That's right. So I had the only information I had about this movie. I'd never even heard of it until Brucker recommended it to me, or us rather. All he told me was that it was pretty graphic, but not overbearing, and that he really enjoyed it. That was all I knew about it. I didn't watch the trailer or anything. I was like, all right, I'm going to pick one, that or Host, which was the other movie he recommended. And I was like, I'm just going to pick one and we're going to do it. Ended up picking Haunt. And I'm usually fairly critical when it comes to horror movies because I feel like there's a lot that go wrong.
Yeah.
And I really, really enjoyed this movie. There were two issues I had with this movie. And we'll probably... I'm just going to say, we're probably just going to go straight into spoilers, especially with horror movies. You kind of have to.
Yeah, I agree.
But also, most people typically don't listen to it if they haven't watched the movie anyway. Or if they listen to it beforehand, then they typically know that, you're prepared for spoilers. So, we're just going to get into it. So, if for whatever reason you're listening and you haven't watched the movie and you don't want spoilers, I would hop out now. But I'm just going to go ahead and point out the two issues that I had with the film just because there weren't a lot,
Go ahead.
so we can discuss everything else. I had two issues with this film. The first one was the boyfriend. So, she has an abusive drunk boyfriend who she breaks up with at the beginning of the movie. And he
Yeah.
plays a part, but we don't see him. So we know he followed her. We know he followed her to the haunted house. Her and the group of friends that she found at the party. And then they decided to go to a haunted house. And he follows them. And then he doesn't show up until the end of the movie when he tracks her phone. And then he ends up dying.
No, I 100% agree with that. I thought that was a little weird.
Because like from what I assumed, because like they made a point that the boyfriend played a factor in this movie, like at the beginning, like
Yeah.
it was very apparent that he had a role in this
And that's
film.
kind of how like they started off the movie.
Exactly, that's what the movie started off with, was an issue with the boyfriend. I assumed that he was going to be a part of the haunted house.
Yeah.
Or he knew him, or he was going to somehow save the day or something. But then I figured he wouldn't save the day because they had issues. I feel like it wouldn't make sense to be like, your boyfriend's a drunk alcoholic, break up with him, and then to redeem him
Yeah.
for no reason. So I thought he was going to be a part of it, or it was going to turn. I thought it was going to be one of those ones where it turns out to be a big joke, and then it goes wrong. You know what I mean? Like we've seen a couple of
Yeah,
those.
I mean, I feel like that'd be super like cliche though.
No, yeah, but I thought that's maybe where it was headed. And then Kobe, stop. Sorry, my dog is going ham on this bone right now. I don't know why, because he just chose to do it right on the floor of where we're recording. But anyway, my other issue was the very, very end.
See, I liked the very end.
I liked it, but I thought it was impractical. So like at the end,
I thought it was kind of.
so I'm just gonna spoil the end, so that I can discuss it. So at the end of the movie, they break out of the haunted house. They ended up killing a bunch of the people in the haunted house that were trying to kill them. Blah blah blah. Fast forward, the main guy of the haunted house, the guy who runs it or whatever, he doesn't die, but they have. So at the beginning, kind of have to backtrack a little bit. So when they go into the haunted house, they fill out these waivers. So it has their address. Except this is another issue I had, because they made a point to say, hey, they have our phone numbers and our parents' addresses. They all said parents' addresses. I feel like maybe this is, I don't know the setting. I got the vibe that it was college,
Yeah.
but it may have been late high school
I got a college vibe.
or early college when they're home for summer break. Because why else would they have parents' address? Well, she doesn't live with her parents. You know what I mean? But
yeah, I don't know.
But
Yeah, I agree.
you heard that too, right?
Yeah, I mean,
She's like, they have our parents' addresses.
I think that's a little flown, but yeah.
And the whole, I feel like the whole intent for them to have the parents' addresses was to set up for this end scene, which wouldn't make sense. If I go to a haunted house and I sign a waiver and ask for my parents' address, I'm like, why the fuck is this in here? You know what I mean?
I wouldn't even put it.
Exactly. But anyway, so, and I guess they realize at the end, after they're, they end up going to the hospital because they're all cut up and bruised and everything, and then they're going home. I guess she realizes at one point that the main guy is going to come back to kill her for whatever reason.
Well, because they escaped.
Because they escaped, yeah. But then she booby traps the parents' house, like she knows he's going to show up. And then she shoots him in the head with a shotgun. Which, I mean, I'm not saying he didn't deserve it, but like it's like the most impractical approach to do. Like I feel like any logical person, because now, it's not self-defense at that point, it's entrapment. You know what I mean? So like you
Well,
can't.
it is when you broke in your home.
Yeah, but you can't booby trap. There's rules against booby trapping your house. Did you know that? I mean, there's laws.
I didn't know that.
Yes,
I also
it's in
feel
certain.
like
It's in certain states, but like you cannot, like, if you have your house you cannot booby trap your house, like with like a triggered firearm or like a trap door or whatever. You cannot do that. Like if someone breaks into your house and they get hurt, injured, or killed because of a booby trap or whatever. I'm not sure the specific law, but I know I saw somewhere where they were talking. I think it's only in specific states too. I could be totally wrong, but I'm pretty sure it's illegal to do that.
Well, I think in her
But
case,
anyway, though,
she's a little safe off because the guy's literally hunting her.
No, the guy's hunting her, but what logical person wouldn't be like, hey, police, by the way, this man has my parents' address. He was hunting us and we escaped. I feel like he's going to show back up. So, like, why wouldn't you have a stakeout for them to come just arrest him? Because, like, now, even if he breaks into her house, she could still, in theory, get charged with murder.
Yeah, possibly.
Because, like, So like I know I'm pretty sure I could be
you're thinking
wrong,
a
but
little
like
too much
well see
into
here's the
it,
thing, like well it's really not important, but like it stuck out to me, so I'm talking about it. Like in Florida, if someone breaks into your house or is on your property, I'm pretty sure there it is 100% legal to kill them, no questions asked type deal, as long as you can prove that they broke in or they were unlawfully on your property. If you kill them, like, you know, no charges. But then there's other laws that prevent you from doing that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I mean, like, it's the same case. I mean, this is getting a little bit off topic, but, like, there have been literal, you know, sexual assault victims and kidnap victims who have killed their abusers mid-abuse or, like, in self-defense or killed their abductors and have gotten jail time for murder. So, like, you know what I mean? So, like, I don't know. I just feel like it was impractical.
Yeah.
It's not really too much. I mean, like, regardless, I still really
you're
enjoyed the
thinking
film.
way too much into it.
I am definitely delving way too much into it. But, like, the film overall, other than those small little nitpicky scenes, I mean, I thought it was fantastic, to be perfectly honest with you. I really, I would recommend it to someone. The only person I wouldn't recommend it to is Brent. Because he watched about half of it and he was like, oh, this is too much. But, I mean, I could understand if you have a really weak stomach or you have trauma.
Or giant vagina.
Or you're a giant vagina. I would not recommend it. You know what I mean? Because, like, there are definitely some extremely graphic scenes in there. But, I mean,
It's
like,
nothing like if you can watch Saw, you'll be
oh,
fine.
if you can watch Saw, you would like the movie. Like, it was fantastic. I got some Saw vibes, but more of a plot-wise. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I mean,
Like
I
the
definitely
ear-
got some
no,
Saw
like the
vibes the way,
earlier-
like they're going through the haunted
So,
house.
like, the newer Saw movies, like Jigsaw, there's a whole plot behind it. But, like, the first Saw movies, it's just like how... I mean, it's tied in a little bit at the end, but it's mostly how disgusting can we be type deal. Like, how
Yeah.
gruesome can we make this film? But, no.
Saw movies are low-key good in the plot.
I really liked some of them. Some of them are pretty bad. I loved Jigsaw.
Liked all of them.
I loved it. They're making a new one.
I know.
I'm super hyped.
I feel like they keep making those. I mean, it's so easy to do.
Did you like Jigsaw? I mean, see, I was shocked though, because I hadn't really seen any of the other. I'd seen clips from Saw movies, probably may have seen one or two of them, and then my friend wanted to go see Jigsaw, so I went and saw Jigsaw. Fuck, I loved that movie, and then I watched like a YouTube video on how it tied in. There are no loose ends, like at all, and there's like 6 of them, and it ties in perfectly.
Yeah, I mean,
And,
I
like,
think the movies are very.
But like, it's crazy.
underrated.
It's super. I think they're underrated because, like, the plot. And we're getting a little off track, but I want to talk about it for just a second. But like, as crazy as it goes, like, even if they don't know the direction of the next film, their writers are so comprehensive of what they're doing that they can. So like, you know what I mean. Like, if the Saw movie before Jigsaw didn't plan for Jigsaw to be panned out that way, like if they didn't plan ahead to the next movie, you know what I mean? They were able to rewrite the script in a way to where it flipped the whole ending of the last movie, but it still logically and plot-wise and timeline-wise made sense.
Yeah.
Which either way, intentional, you know, going forward, or rewriting it to fit what they're looking for, you know, phenomenal writing. Insane. Like the plot twist at the end of fucking Jigsaw, insane. It's crazy. I want to go back and watch all of it. But anyway,
Yeah, we'll have to.
what did you have any nitpicky things about this movie that you didn't like before we discussed, like what we liked about it?
I'm trying to think of. I feel like I have one. I'm trying to think about it. Yeah, I feel like a little bit of it was like just characters being stupid, I guess.
How do you mean?
I feel like that's like
Ooh,
always
also,
the case.
This, I'm sorry, but did you recognize the black girl?
No.
So she looked super familiar. I cannot remember who she was. Fun fact: I haven't seen her in anything, but China Anne McClain, the Disney star, you know who that is?
No.
Anyway, well then no one wonder. But it's her sister. They look exactly alike. Fun fact. Anyway,
Oh, gotcha.
Continue.
Yeah. So I'll say, like, I mean, just classic, like when they were reaching through the fence, or like
Yeah.
thing to get that. Like, obviously,
Yeah.
like, some show's gonna happen.
I feel like they definitely could have well, I don't even think that's stupid. But
Well, my
like,
biggest
it,
thing is
it took them forever to get it, and they were like at one point you
Yeah.
could easily have pulled that in.
Yeah.
Also, why wasn't the first thing that they asked the masked assailant to do was
Take his
remove his
mask
mask? Like, if I'm in a
Or also, like,
if I'm in-
why? I guess my biggest thing is like, why would this dude, like, when he's like, okay, I'll go find someone. Why would you ask another masked person to help you? You know what I'm saying?
yeah, but like
you're literally being haunted by two masked people.
I get that, but at that point, at that point. So like, I really thought about that hard actually. So at that point though, they don't really realize that they're being hunted. You know, they're skeptical. They're very skeptical. So from an outside perspective, you know, we're a third party in this, right?
Yeah.
We're an outside viewer, so we
Yeah.
obviously know they're being hunted.
Yeah.
They are very skeptical, but they don't know for sure because you know at first they thought you know her arm being torn up, you know they just thought it was an accident. You know she got hurt,
Yeah.
right? And then they see, you know, their friend that went missing being tortured across from him.
Well, she died.
Well, she died, yeah.
They literally saw her get stabbed.
Well,
in the
see, they
head.
saw her get stabbed, right? So then they're like, what the fuck is going on? But then again, also in that situation, you're in a haunted house. You might not believe it. You know, you're going to be super scared. But, like, you know, they're still trying to process what happened. So then, imagine, so, like, look at it from the dude's perspective. So I had to look at it from his perspective. So, like, you think your friend's just been murdered right in front of you. But then you're in a haunted house. So you're like, what the fuck is going on? Right? And then he sees a masked person. He's like, help, someone's hurt. And then the lights flip on. And he's like, and then like normal voice. Like he sounded perfectly normal, like a kid. And he was like, did you say someone's hurt? And he was like, yeah. He's like, our friend's hurt. And then he's like, and he starts explaining to him. And like at that point, I could see you start to ease and realize maybe this wasn't real. And then he brings up, he's like, yeah, dude, he's like, our friend died. He's like, your friend's not dead. You know,
Wait,
it's part of the act. You know,
Yeah.
he's like, there's a trap door. We got her in a trap door, and he's like, and like it's part of the act. She's outside waiting for you. And like in the sense, it's Halloween. They chose to go into a haunted house at that moment in time. In theory, that makes sense, right?
Yeah.
It makes sense, especially if you know the other guys are going. But like once you get that one guy being super friendly with you, speaking in a normal voice, turns the lights on, offers to help you, and like you know he has the keys and everything, and he explains to you in a logical sense what's going on. It makes sense that they back off from the theory that they've actually seen their friend get murdered, and they're like, okay, because he starts to help them, right?
Yeah.
And then once they see the new guy come in, and you know he disappears with. You know, so like one guy escapes out or gets out of the haunted house, and then the worker follows him,
Yeah.
right?
Yep.
So then they're alone again, and then they see a new masked person, and then at that point they start panicking again because like, hold up, what the fuck's going on?
Yeah.
And then it sets in. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So like at first I had the same issue as you did. I'm like, why are they trusting this guy? But then again, you know, first off, the only thing that they want is for it to be okay. So he provided them with a reasonable explanation of why it was going to be okay.
Yeah.
Why it really, like, it was an accident, it was no big deal. He's like, oh man, he's like, you know, this isn't supposed to happen, no one's supposed to get hurt. He's like, let's get you out of here, you know, type deal. So, like, in my mind, it makes kind of sense that they kind of backed off that idea of asking the masked guy for help.
Yeah.
See what I'm saying?
I see what you're saying a little bit.
But man, I don't know. I feel like the end of it, when I got really deep into this stuff with that last chick,
Yeah. I mean, I thought the whole vibe was like really good.
the whole vibe was really good. I agree.
And just like all like the random planet shit they had like throughout, like even when like they went to like the first and they split and it was like safe and not safe.
Yeah, at first I was
And
like,
then they
I
were
mean,
doing the whole
personally,
like,
I would not do that. But then again, see, at first I was like, I wouldn't split up a group. But then again, you're splitting into groups of 3.
yeah, and you're
So you're not so you're not alone, and you think you're in a haunted house. So like,
Yeah.
I feel like a lot of my initial speculations from the film. Again, at no point did I think it was bad, but like at certain points, I was like, "Fuck, I wouldn't." You know,
Well,
why
that
would
is-
you do
I
this?
did-
Why
yeah.
you're stupid? But then again, where you have to remember, you're looking at it as a third party. You know it's a horror movie. You know they're trying to be killed. At that point, they don't know. They think they're going to a haunted house. So you're not gonna have your guard. You're gonna have your you're gonna have some guards up.
Yeah.
But at other points, weird shit happens. You're like, oh, it's a haunted house. You know what I mean? So like, you don't think twice about splitting up as long as you're going in another separate group with other people. If you're in a haunted house, because the end result's the same.
Yeah.
Type deal. So like, once I made that connection, and I had to remind myself because I had the same thought you did, where I was like, but that's stupid. Why would you split up? Or
Well, I didn't really have that because, like you said, like we kind of like obviously we're looking in like we're starting a horror movie, like obviously bad shit's gonna happen. But then like you said, like you're in a haunted house, like people are gonna split up, like and go one safe or one not safe. I think my biggest, the coolest part with that was like the whole. I mean, I like the whole like when they played the spiders with the one chick, and then like she's like in the thing, and like all the live spiders like crawling. Well, then she like falls out of it and it's like freaking out. And he's like, yo, chill, chill, chill. And like pulls a receipt off the ground. It's like they're just fakes. Because like they bought a bunch of fake spiders. But like I thought that was like a cool like thing. They just planned it. I mean, I pretty much knew the oil was going to come back into play. Like for the exact reason that they used it.
Yeah.
Like,
as soon as I saw the oil, and then they were
I was like, okay, fire it.
See, they're on the oil. And then at first I was like, why is this not red flags? And then they were like, it's cheaper than fake blood. And they were like, is it? And then they kind of was like, whatever.
Yeah, and like I thought, I mean, for a second there, I thought that was going to get used when the dude split off when he was trying to like get out.
Yeah, for sure.
I thought they were going to use the oil to like burn him. But I don't know. And the whole thing, like it's very tense. Very well, like just like kind of keeps you on the edge of your feet ever since like they get into the haunted house. I would say it's like very. I don't know. I think it does give like Saw type vibes, not as much as like you get to like destroy your body to escape, but more of like a
of how gruesome it was.
It's not really that, but it's more of like a how like you're trapped by these people, you got to get out kind of vibe.
Correct. Yeah, I get what you're saying. So like one thing I really really liked about this film. So like my big issue with some horror movies is some of them are gory and gruesome for the sake of being gory and gruesome. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I agree.
So like, I feel like this movie did not do that. As though it was still extremely graphic and extremely gory at points, it didn't feel unnecessary. You know what I mean?
No, I agree.
So like, did you ever watch?
I mean, it was
some of it was a bit much, but like
the hammer was
the hammer in the mouth.
It was kind of unnecessary. Besides the fact that like I think that's his like preferred method of killing.
Yeah, because he did it twice.
Yeah, because he was about to do it the second time.
Exactly. So I feel like that's less weird. I mean, I feel like it was gory for the sake of being gory, but I feel like they wrote it in to a way to where it wasn't like, hey, let's see how disgusting we can make some of these scenes. Yeah. And it at least kind of made sense. But like, did you ever watch the movie Terrifier?
No.
I think it's what it's called. It's on Netflix. It's not that great of a film. So it's about a killer clown. But like, I mean, it's... What's the name for it? I mean, this is how kind of Brucker described it. He said it's not like this, although it appears like this. Like gore porn, I think is the classification for it.
Gotcha.
So like some people are like just really into super gory.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, which there's nothing wrong with this. Just like I want a little bit more, plot behind my movies.
Yeah, I agree.
Where it makes sense. I like gory, but I like gory where it's logical. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'd say Saw's about the goriest I like.
Yeah. So like Terrifier is about a killer clown, and it is the plot's not that good, the movie's not that great, but like it is so incredibly graphic, gruesome, and disgusting.
Yeah.
Like all the murders are super in depth. Like it looks pretty like special effects are insane. But like the whole point of the film, like it's made for people who like super gory stuff.
Yeah.
So like if you're into that, then you would like that movie. But like that's kind of the vibe I was kind of not hoping for. Which it wasn't. Like it was definitely super graphic. Like it made me. There are multiple scenes that made me squeam quite a bit.
Yeah.
So like where he puts the hammer scene we were referencing was he takes not the butt end. The butt end would be the bottom of the hammer. The back end of the hammer. Like for removing
like
nails. in, like, this dude's kind of knocked out already and on the ground, but, like, he's sort of conscious, but not really. But he shoves it in his mouth, like, upside down, and peels the top of his jaw and face back.
Yeah.
It shows about half of it, and then it shows the
It's
rest.
pretty fucked.
It's pretty graphic. That definitely made me squirm. When the first murder, it showed pretty close up of them stabbing the hot iron through her skull.
Yeah.
Also pretty graphic, but not too bad because you know, it wasn't like all over the place.
Yeah,
Now,
like they close.
another scene that really bothered me was closer to the end, where the main character, the main lady, she's backing up, and she steps on the nail.
Yeah, that was pretty nuts.
Granted, we don't see it; just goes in her shoe and then out of her shoe. But like, I could feel it. You know what I mean?
Have you ever stepped on a nail?
I have, but it didn't go all the way through my foot. It's like it went through my shoe and poked the bottom of my foot, but it did not go through.
That's good.
So, but like, I definitely had a flashback to that of what it could have been, type deal.
Yeah.
But like, that scene made me scream, and then there was one more, close to the end. Oh, also, shit. How far are we? I'll wait until the end. The big twist at the end. Not the big twist, but like halfway through. I don't know. There was a couple other scenes. When she takes the skeleton key and jabs it into that dude's eyeball.
Yeah, that was dope.
Also, I was not ready for that dude to be horny. Well,
Yeah.
you know what I mean.
Well, I mean, I think the
literally, he had horns in his head.
Yeah.
But like, no, some people do that. Like, it's a real thing. So like, he wasn't like a devil or anything. You know, he was just a dude who got, some of those insane body modifications.
Well, I think that's the whole vibe, like, behind the whole thing. It's like
All of them all had their
have
faces ripped
face
off.
messed up.
Because like the clown, he had like the clown, like where his eyes were, like where they do the
Yeah.
big eyes on the clown makeup. Those were like burnt.
Yeah, and so
And
was
his
nose.
his nose was burnt and his mouth was cut.
Yeah. And then like the other dude, the dude with the hammer, like literally like didn't have a mouth. Like it was
I really enjoyed the one teenage worker they had working there.
Yeah, that was good.
I thought that was a good touch.
Yeah, because
'cause,
it
like,
was
they
quick
gotta-
and to the point, but it was also like
Because I feel like it was accurate. Because like they run into this other guy like towards the end when the last two people are escaping, and they run into the guy and he's like, "Oh, shoot me!" He's like, "Don't shoot!" And like he pulls off his mask immediately, and he doesn't have any scars or anything on his face. He's like, "Dude, I just work here." He's like, "I didn't know they're gonna actually be killing people." And he's like, "I just want to get out of here too." He's like, "We can go straight to the cops. I don't care." And they kind of trusted him, but they were standoffish, understandably. Oh fuck! He ends up getting shot by the other guy.
Yeah.
It's pretty gruesome.
Oh, that was the only other part that bothered me. Was
The shotgun?
no, the shotgun was fine.
No, the shotgun bothered me because one reason. He was... So, basically, they had a rig to where when you opened the door... now, I could be wrong. I am not super well versed on weapons, so please correct me if I'm wrong, if you know more than I do. But from my understanding, this scene is technically incorrect. I could be totally wrong. Basically, she had to find a skeleton key, and, she unlocks the door, and when you unlock the door, it triggers a gunshot.
Yeah.
And it shoots through the door, and it's a shotgun. Well, she's about... Well, she's right behind the door. But the shotgun you'd say, I mean, it's a solid 30 yards away, right?
Yeah.
I would think. It's pretty far down that hallway, right?
Yeah.
Like, would you agree?
I would agree.
It's pretty far. And it's a shotgun. And so from 30 feet, or from 30 yards, so about 90 feet, maybe a little bit closer, but it was a good bit away, it busts straight through the door and into her shoulder. But my issue with it is the hole in the door was pretty large, and her shoulder was pretty singular. And from my understanding, now I believe there are also different shells that you can use
Yeah,
for
you're
a
thinking of a
shotgun.
normal shotgun. It's probably just like a slug. It's just a one.
That's
bullet.
true. A slug is a one bullet, but see, what I was thinking. My issue was, I know it's pellets, but like that's what you use for like bird hunting.
Yeah.
Because it sprays a bunch of larger, smaller pellets out. But what doesn't make sense to me is the size of the hole in the door and where she got hit on her shoulder did not line up for me.
Well, the thing is, we don't.
But I could be totally wrong because it didn't show it.
Thing is, we don't know where she's at when she's like behind the door. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's true.
Like when the shotgun shot goes off, like you don't know exactly where she's standing. And then like also like it is a shot like through a wooden door, like some cheap like MDF boards.
I don't know. It was a pretty solid door. The back end behind it was plywood.
Yeah, but it went through.
Also,
like,
that was another issue. Quick before I forget, she had a hell of a time busting through the fucking plywood. You know what I mean?
yes, I know exactly what
You
you're
can
talking
punch through plywood.
about.
Like, you can get right through that shit. And she was like struggling to get through it with a blunt object. And
Yeah.
I was like, I'm like, once you break some of it down, you can literally just pull it out.
Yeah, I know. She
So-
could have just jumped through it too.
She could. I mean, if she would have body slammed it, she'd have been through it.
Yeah.
But anyway, what were you
Well,
saying?
I guess my other thing is like, so when like they were like trying to escape and they found that one teen dude, and then the dude like shot him, and the guy like takes the machete and like machetes his arm like into the wall, and then she like hammers the machete like with the sledgehammer, like hammers the machete into his arm some more. But I'm like, why did she not just take the hammer to this dude's skull? Like this dude's literally
Yeah.
like arm stuck here, like can't move. Like literally just take it and just yeet him across the head.
Yeah, I thought the exact
So
same
he can't
thing.
keep going after them.
Now, as soon as... So this is the scene I was talking about earlier I wanted to discuss. So, there was the guy who was, so like, about halfway through the second act of the film, maybe the third act, I was like, hold up. What's her name?
Oh,
The black
Bailey.
chick. Bailey. I was like, because she kind of disappeared, but she was, so like everyone
Yes.
else died.
Yes.
So like we see where they die, but then Bailey gets kidnapped, and then we don't see her at all.
Yeah.
So like she disappears for like a long portion of the film. I'm
Yes.
like, where the hell is she at? And then towards the end of the film, they show the guy in the black.
Yeah.
With the mask on, and he's like, "Are you ready?"
Yeah.
And then he sends them, and I'm like, what the fuck is he gonna do? And then when, she gets through the door and and that person in the black is standing there, and she's gonna kill him. I'm like, it's fucking Bailey. I'm like, I didn't register until she was right there, and as soon as I realized she's gonna kill her with, because you could see it, like there was not gonna be any fighting back. She
Yeah.
was ready, the guy wasn't ready at all,
Yeah.
and I was like, that's Bailey in the hood. As soon as she came into frame, I was like, she's gonna kill Bailey, and then she did it, and like she stabbed her. It was just too easy. It was so easy. I'm like, that was fucking Bailey. And then she realized she killed her best friend or one of her friends. I think it was a roommate. I think Bailey's her roommate. She killed her. I was like, what the fuck? But that one I called. But I mean, like, I thought this movie, it was a lot better than I thought it was gonna be.
Oh, for sure. I wasn't expecting it to be super.
I wasn't expecting it to be bad because it was a recommendation. He said it's really good. But like, I'm super picky when it comes to horror movies and like the way that they're done. But man, I thought it was a good one.
That was very good.
I'm trying to think if there's anything else to discuss on it. Like, do you have any other final thoughts before we go into rating?
Not really. I mean, I wish I had like the nice cell phone signal that these people have.
What do you mean?
Dude's like in the middle of the haunted house, and it's like
Yeah, in the basement.
100 feet away.
Oh, that's true. That was another issue. Phone tracking does not work like that. It takes you to he tracks his ex-girlfriend's phone.
Yeah, because he's the boyfriend. The other boy sends it to him.
Yes.
Oh, and then I have one more issue, but keep going on yours.
So then he's like tracking your phone, which you can track you can track iOS devices. I mean, like
Yeah.
other phones can do it too through apps, but it gives you like a general location. It doesn't track you to that device.
Yeah, it's usually like an address.
Yeah, it's usually like an address or like coordinates if it's somewhere.
Yeah.
Like it's just a general location. Like, don't get me wrong, it would 100% take him to the haunted house, easy,
Yeah.
no question.
Oh, for sure.
But then like he gets in the haunted house and he's just watching his phone. It's like 100 feet, and like he gets right next to where her phone is. I'm like, that's not how that works.
Yeah.
That was an issue I had.
I guess my biggest issue with him is the fact that like what they did with him was like kind of pointless. Besides the fact that like okay,
Yeah,
now
because
she
we
doesn't
don't-
have a
we don't-
boyfriend to deal with.
We don't
But
see.
it's like there's no like story behind him, and he just comes in and dies instantly. Like the instant he gets inside the fucking haunted house, he's dead.
Yeah, I thought it was super weird because like that's my biggest issue with the movie, because at the beginning of the movie, we we don't see the boyfriend. We just see him leave abruptly, and then the lady's like, or her friend's like, or her roommate is like, "What's wrong?" And she's like, "Nothing." And she's like, "It's your boyfriend, isn't it?" And she's like, "That's it. You're dumping him. He's an asshole and he's a drunk." And then she breaks up with him over text. We don't see him ever again, except for, see, this one also doesn't make any sense to me, because he sends her a picture. He's like, "Can you guess who I am?" for Halloween. And it's one of the characters that we see in the haunted house. But he wasn't there.
See, I thought it was a picture of her.
No. It was the guy with the red mask.
Okay, I'd have to look back at that.
So, like...
See, I thought it was like...
No. It's the red mask guy that we see, because initially we see, when she leaves the party,
Yeah.
there's the guy on the other side of the fence, remember?
Yeah,
and he's
him.
standing there, and she's like, what was his name? Like Duncan or something?
Sam.
And she's like, "Sam?" And then, door opens, she turns back, and he's gone. But he's wearing that red mask.
Okay,
And he sent a picture earlier, and he's like, "Can you guess what I am?" And it's that picture. And then we see that character, or at least that costume, in the haunted house.
Yeah.
And then we don't, at that point in time, we don't know where the boyfriend's at. We know that he tailed her there, remember?
Yeah, in the truck.
And then he's gone, nothing happens, and then he sends the coordinates, and then he shows back up, and then he goes in there, and then he dies. So I'm really confused.
Yeah, I didn't really get the whole thing with him. That's about it. That's like the only really big flaw.
Hopefully, Brucker watched this. So when you listen to this, because you're one of our few consistent listeners, and I know you're going to listen to this one because it's your recommendation episode. So when you get to this point, shoot me a message if you can explain to me what was wrong, what was going on with the boyfriend scene. Because I thought about it forever, and I can't figure out what the hell's supposed to be going on. So, if you have an explanation, send it to me. I don't want to look it up yet. I'll look it up after if you don't have a reasoning. I'd like to hear your reasoning. If you have one.
Yeah. That's really it. Oh, and then the only other flaw is, like, the guy's, like, destroying cell phones. And he gets a call on one of them, and that's not, like, the first
and it's
one
the
he
boyfriend.
destroys.
Yeah.
But, like, how's that not the first one you destroy? Like, you just got a call on a phone, like, of a dude actively, like, looking for this chick.
I don't know.
And you're not going to destroy that phone right away.
Yeah. It's also weird. Like, he, like, it's not like the phones, he unlocks the phone. Not unlocks it, but, like, he taps it on. He sees there's a passcode, and he makes zero attempt to get into it, and he's like, fuck. And he's, like, destroy. I don't know.
I don't know either. But, overall, great scary movie. Not too long either. Nice short.
Yeah, I mean, I would highly recommend it. That was the only
sure.
issue I had with it, but, like, that didn't knock it down. Like,
No,
it wasn't a deal breaker at all.
Because, like, and they also, like, didn't play, like, a big part of it, so, like, it really didn't we're just being nitpicky at this point.
Yeah, I feel like I had to be
big issue.
nitpicky with this one because of, so, like, I talked about my issues with it a lot, but, like, it was nitpicking one issue that I broke down. I mean, honestly, for going into ratings, I think I gave it a 4 out of 5. I really enjoyed it.
I think you gave it 3.5.
I thought I gave it a 4. I think I think you're right. I think I gave it a 3.5 solely based on the fact that I didn't know what was going on with the boyfriend. I think that knocked it down a half a star for me. Now, if Brucker can explain to me what that means, I might bump it up. But then again, I also feel like if it's not clear enough to where you get it the first time, then that's a note on how good the film is. But also, it could be something super obvious that I just overlooked.
Yeah, I agree.
But I don't know. We'll see. But I think I'm going to look on Letterboxd.
So are you holding steady with your 3.5 star rating?
I mean, it's between a 3.5 and a 4. If I could have gone in between it, I would have. Aside from the boyfriend, it would have been a 4. And if it wasn't for the ending where she shoots the guy without calling the police, that thing, probably 4.5. I mean, I honestly really enjoyed the film.
4.5 is high.
Yeah, but it's a really. I feel like I rated it higher because horror movies, especially new horror movies, are typically not that great.
Yeah.
They're starting to get better. But,
I agree.
on average, the amount of horror movies that get released are not as good as typically. I feel like it's a top-tier horror film. So that's why I kind of rated it higher. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like, in conjecture with other horror movies.
I agree.
What did you rate it?
I mean, if we're going on a star, like, I'm going to only do half stars. I'd probably have to put it at... I'd probably put it right at 4, like barely getting 4. I don't think it's anything like nearly above 4. But, like out of 10, it'd probably be right around 8. Like I'd probably give it a high 7s.
Yeah, I would
Because I think there's obviously there's like small flaws here and there, but overall, like great horror movie. Would definitely watch it. Like keeps you on your feet. Like sometimes not wanting to watch the screen. Like does what everything good in a horror movie and wasn't like super cliche or like very, I guess, like repetitive.
Yeah,
And like, oh, we've seen this before. Like all
that's
this
true.
stuff.
It was fairly original. It wasn't
And I
super original,
I
but
thought
it was
the-
pretty original.
I mean, I thought the haunted house in general was like pretty well thought out.
It was. It made sense.
I guess like in how they like
the layout and
the
everything.
layout and like just like all like the traps and stuff that they laid and like the reason they do everything.
Yeah, that's my big issue with some horror traps and horror films is they're super elaborate. You know what I mean? Like this, like a lot of the traps in there felt like stuff your average, horror
Fanatic, yeah.
aficionado, fanatic, or whatever word you want to use, would be able to create type deal.
I agree.
Yeah, well, we're right at an hour.
Yeah, I think it's a good time.
It was a good time. I don't want to make it too long.
Yeah.
So, hope you enjoyed.
Yep. Thanks for tuning in.
Thanks for tuning in. I really like this episode. I really like this movie. I think this was one of the better movies we've watched in a while.
Yeah, it has been.
I mean, the last two were. I mean,
I
we've
think
been on
they're
a pretty
It's
good
just been
streak
different.
of movies.
It's definitely one of the better horror movies.
But this is different. We don't do a lot of horror. We haven't done any
Yeah.
horror, I don't think, actually.
It's because Brian can't watch it.
Because Brent can't watch it. Well, tune in next week. I think next week has the potential to be one of our better episodes yet. Because we will be doing Tim Curry, his It. It wasn't his It, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
He was It.
Yeah.
1990, and then the 2 remakes, part 1 and 2. I rewatched 2 recently, part 2. Man, the movie's fantastic.
So
There's
you're just
some,
watching it way out of order.
huh?
You're just watching it out of order.
Yeah, probably. I watched this. I'm just gonna watch it backwards.
That makes
But-
sense.
No, there's some pretty. I think I might steal a page out of Film on the Rocks books, and take some quotes down, because some of the quotes from chapter 2 are just pretty on point.
Yeah.
So I might drop some quotes in there. They
You can
like
do
to.
that.
They like to
We could
do that. But anyway, thanks for listening. Hope you like our new intro. Better
Thank
be
you.
in there.
Hope so too.
I guess tune in next week for It Chapter 2. Actually, no.
Just
Next
all the
episode.
It's.
Next episode will be TV Tuesdays number 2. TV Tuesday number 2 will be out next Tuesday. It will be out Wednesday. Hopefully, if all goes well, should be good. I know we had some hiccups this week as far as release date. This was supposed to be out 8 hours ago or whatever.
It's usually that.
But it's usually late a little bit. But it's fine. It's fine. Well, anyway, thanks for listening. Welcome back. Have a good weekend.
That's a
Whatever. That's a wrap.